Country brief. Oh, well, we got a call. Good afternoon, Hotline.
Hi, Jeff. I have a comment on the Ogdensburg prison.
Sure, go ahead.
Again, like everyone said, like you were saying, everyone wants cuts and wants to be able to save money and things to turn around. But when it comes to your own hometown, you don't want that to happen. And obviously, most of us don't want to see any industry or anything such as the prison closing because of the loss of jobs and things. But where do people really think that the government's going to start saving some money besides doing these types of things?
Yeah, this, I think, is a problem for some of the political figures who have latched onto this. I understand if you're from Ogdensburg, maybe you have to say that if you're Mayor Nelson, and maybe you have to say it if you're Assemblyman.
Oh, it's understandable, totally understandable. My concern is, and this will hit a nerve with a lot of people because it involves report, but I'm concerned that, for instance, and I don't know the Frontier Leagues, anything like that, but my concern is, why does a school like Lafargeville or Watertown or Indian River or Alex Bay have to play somebody near Syracuse? Why do we have to pay? And I know that these are not huge amounts of money, but we're busing a team and possibly cheerleaders to an event 70 or plus miles away to play basketball or something, swimming or whatever. And then we pay a bus driver to do this, and the bus driver probably sits there for a couple of hours waiting for this game to be over with, and then we pay to truck them back home. Why can't we pay people in our own backyard? I mean, can't Watertown play Alex Bay, or why can't they play Indian River or something? Why do we have to be involved in it?
There is some play locally. I think there's...
Oh, there's some, yes, but you always hear, well, we got to go to Mattydale for a game. Why? We've got enough school districts in this area. You must...
Oh, goodness gracious, yes.
Yeah, I mean, you must be able to throw a team together somewhere, or a couple of you combine, and maybe Thousand Islands and Lafargeville can throw a team together. I understand they're small districts. You know, wouldn't that be a cost saving somewhere? And then people go, well, it's a drop in the bucket. Well, you've got to start dropping in the bucket somewhere. I mean, that's the same with your soda tax, for instance. That's probably a drop in the bucket.
Well, are you in favor of it?
In favor of the soda tax? Yeah. Well, I don't drink soda, so I drink water.
How about a water tax?
Why not? The city taxes me on my water.
Yeah, well...
Really?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you're buying a product there. I would say that...
Okay, they don't tax me on the water, they tax me on the sewer. I mean, so either way, I'm being taxed one way or the other.
You know what? We call that...
In a bottle of water, in the bottle, it's the same thing.
We have a word for that, too. We call it sewer rent.
Yeah, right.
Can you believe that? Who thinks up this thing?
I would hope you'd never kick me out of my sewer, I guess.
Well, it's just a question of what do you want to tax. I mean, like I said, chicken wings aren't particularly good for you. Cheese sticks aren't.
Well, look at cigarettes. I mean, remember when they were 50 cents a pack? And you could go to another state and get them for $2. You still can. The thing is, and the same with alcohol, they've taxed all this stuff. Well, they can no longer do it. It's obviously, you're not going to be able to buy it. But
well, then you're going to look for other markets for it. And that's what the whole thing is, Indian reservations, internet sales. They keep trying to put another finger in the dike there because this tax revenue is sneaking its way away from government. And now they got people government is increasingly like organized crime. They got people out just whose job it is to shake people down.
I would like to see...
And I'm talking about all sorts of regulatory agencies in all arenas, not just a business I'm in. All sorts of...
I would like to see New York have a sales tax on everything. For instance...
Well, they do.
I mean everything. You know, if I go to the grocery store and buy 2 packages of hot dogs, 7 3/4% on top of it. And I would like to see that. I would like to see that the food stamp people can no longer buy Pepsi-Cola or Coca-Cola, whichever, or candy.
Yeah, there's another thing. Why, if the government wants to get people away from sugary products, rather than taxes on the product, why not restrict the ability of government entities to buy it, like school districts? If a school district has a soda pop machine in its building, the superintendent should be arrested for child abuse.
Well, nowadays, most of them have milk machines. I don't think any of them have...
Well, that's not good. Is that good for you?
Well, probably nothing is good for you, but I would assume that that's
politically
better of the two.
Yeah, it's politically better to.
So let farmers hear you say that, because then you've degraded them. And
exactly. I love dairy farmers.
I do too. But anyway, the other thing is with the welfare system, and again, I'm not going to change the world, but I would like to see drug testing done on these people that I read in the Newzjunky or read in the paper that have been arrested. I know they don't work for heroin or cocaine. I can't afford to buy heroin or cocaine, but I'm paying for them to do it.
Yeah, I was wondering, how do those people afford that stuff?
I don't know. From what I understand, it's pretty expensive.
Now, you don't sound like an Obama Democrat anymore. You sound
Oh, I do believe in health care. I think everybody should have health care. I do believe in a lot of the thing, but, when it becomes your nickel, you've got to pull the strings on some things. And again, with the schools traveling to Timbuktu to play a ball game, not a good thing in my book. Stay local, play with your neighbors, you're fine. With the welfare people, and I have nothing against someone who needs help for a short period of time, I do have something against the lifers that are also the crackheads.
There are some people who are unemployable. You have to understand that that not every people who say that make them get a job. There are some people who will never get a job because of.
True, and again, you can't expect, and nothing against the fast food service industry, but you can't expect some people with a family to have a job at a fast food service or at a department store and live off of minimum wage to survive. You can't do it. And I mean, I've had a decent job for over 20 years. I get paid well. I have 5 kids. I did it. But you can't expect somebody to do it at wage. You can't do that.
You got up and went to work every day, right?
Pardon?
You got up and went to work every day.
Well, I still do, unfortunately.
Yeah. You don't think 8 o'clock in the mornings...
I go to work at 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm
right. I mean,
30.
The folks who think noon is early in the day.
The thing I had to give up when I went... Exactly. I hate when they think there's really a 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The thing I gave up was unfortunately having to, enjoy myself at your place during the week. I save that for Friday if I do so.
And that's a decision we all have to make. I mean...
You have to. I guess unless you're the heroin addict or the crackhead that can do it anytime you want and still get up feeling great. I don't know. I've never done it, but the way they act, they tell me you feel great with that. Unless you become a movie star and kill yourself with it. But.
Well, yeah, there is a downside to it, and we shouldn't joke about that. But it does seem like... there isn't much to life.
My thoughts. Let's try with some little things. I know at home, for instance, I turn my heat down when I'm not here. And then they say, well, it costs you just as much to run it back up. Well, okay, maybe it does. But I feel I'm saving a few pennies by doing so. And yes, is it a drop in the bucket? Yeah, it probably is a drop in the bucket. But those drops in that bucket, same as our maple syrup, adds up to cash.
Right. No, I agree with you, and...
people should think about that. And again, we hate to see the Ogdensburg facility go, and I know Mrs. Ritchie's obviously training herself, or someone's training her to run for something, so this is her big deal.
Wouldn't it be something if, and this would be just blatant heresy, what if a Darrell Albertine or a Addie Russell or even Mrs. Ritchie or somebody just got up at that rally today and said, I'm sorry to have to say this, but this state needs to save money. There's fewer people in jail now, and this is the most cost-effective prison to close, and so I guess it's probably for the betterment of the state a good thing.
I'd love to see it.
Wouldn't that be something? They would be...
They would never be elected again, but...
They might be. There's this wisdom out there that everybody latches onto this. Of course they'll sign your online petition. Of course they'll say they, want to keep jobs and everything like that. But not everyone who's out there in these communities like Hubleton and Lisbon and Morristown, they're not making the $60,000, $80,000 a year that these particular jobs in that institution are providing. And I'm not here to denigrate what the people do. They got a job, they passed the test, they made it. But those people aren't necessarily sitting there saying, boy, I got to pay higher taxes so that guy can keep making $80,000 a year.
I agree.
Increasingly people don't think that way anymore. Among the sort of elite class, the elite government class, the IDA types and the politicians and all that, they all think, oh, we got to save jobs and we got to save these jobs. But increasingly, I think people, and this is what the Tea Party movement's all about, people are figuring it out. And it just can't go on. And they're making comments like you are, sir.
Yeah.